I had bought a book called The Magic of Findhorn, and I had been reading this book and realized that Peter Caddy, the founder, had been in the Royal Air Force as a catering officer, and I had that background in the U.S. Navy. And they had gone off and done a remarkable thing. Both he and his wife had left the Air Force to basically start a spiritual community based upon. First thing they did was plant this garden, and all of a sudden remarkable things were going on. They were growing 50 to 60 pound vegetables and roses out of the snow and stuff like that. And I just became fascinated, and I thought to myself, I really wanted to meet this guy. And 2 years later, there was a knock on my door, and a friend had sent him over because he was looking for a place to stay in Honolulu. And as I opened the door, there he was. And I realized, that I had had this strong intent to meet him, and here he was. And so that began to propel me into really thinking about how our minds work and how we do really manifest things, but we forget them. This was a simple way for me to attach a moniker to a phenomena whereby we have this vast area called the subconscious mind, which is now, of course, getting more and more press. And we just have a lot of explanations that take place within this realm. And we don't really, the scientific method doesn't really allow for us to adequately explain that because we haven't figured it out yet. But on the other hand, remarkable phenomena take place, and we don't have an explanation for it. So rather than to give credit to that, to some sort of divine presence or something like that we can't really relate to so well, I began to think, well, what if we just have pals and buddies, and we're doing joint projects together, and they're trying to help us as much as they possibly can, but the issue is, how do we communicate? And I like that feeling. It felt much more, not just useful, but it felt more like that's the way it could be. Mm-hmm. It's just the way we are with our friends and our associates and our teachers and so forth. And why couldn't that exist in just that realm? And it's just like next door. So when you look at the phenomena that take place, like synchronicities in your life, or great opportunities that just happened, or what about the great flash of insight that you got? Did your brain produce that, or did that come from some other person's brain or entity's brain? So it became a way for me to, excuse me, it became a way for me to just think about that in a way that was more comfortable.